In this world, gates have merged to Earth, the dimensional rifts that suddenly appeared all around the world. Ferocious monsters floor out from these gates that connect to other world, making the surrounding areas sealed off as danger areas, isolated and off-limits. But there's only ones who can enter at this gates. These people are with special abilities called skills who can hunt monsters. And these people were called as hunters. One of them were unfazed from the goblins that lunging at her. She says, "I'm more than enough to handle this alone." This girl is confident to turn these goblins into ashes. She instantly killed these goblins in single attack. The goblins was burned into crisps. The guy saw him was amazed for her incredible power. He said, "This is the strength of the youngest genius S-rank hunter known as the Flame Sword Princess." This was Karen Hamura, a 15-year-old S-rank hunter. She was known to be one of the strongest hunter at young age. She told to everyone that she already taken care of the small fry. She added this hunting ground is classified A rank. There must be more formidable threats here. So she advised everyone stay alerted. Everyone agreed. Hunters are those who hunt monsters, but they must never forget one thing. Because there's one thing problem being a hunter, that, as hunters, they can also die. He was frustrated of what on earth this monster they confronted. Unfortunately for the others, they were hunted too by the monsters. He wonder isn't just some A-rank monster. He even thought this monster wasn't even a S-rank, but instead a double S-rank monster. So this guy thought it's over for him, because even the Flame Sword Princess has been taken down. The monster dashes towards him. He knew as this monster attacked, they were going to be wiped out here. Karen suddenly yelled to say not yet. This caught the monster's attention. She stood up, because still wants to fight. The monster's hand suddenly approaching her. She got startled to see this and knew she can't win. She closed her eyes, hoping someone would help her. A guy suddenly dashed in, punching the monster into its face. The monster flew so hard because of the impact of its punch. A girl suddenly startled as someone saved her. She wondered what just happened after seeing the monster unconscious. The boy was shocked to see him taking it down in single punch. They can't believe he managed to take the double S-rank monster with a single right hook. This made them wonder who is this guy who able to knock out a monster in a single punch. He checked their condition, but as he recognized him, he thought it was impossible. Because this guy is the weakest F-rank hunter known as Musclehead. And this guy is Kengo Kuramiya. He heard it from him. He knew he was that guy up until now. However, there's a guy observing him in a white uniform. This guy smirked at Kengo. He looked at him too and told that he's not the weakest guy anymore. For him, this is his reborn strength. 3 days ago, Kengo was doing his daily training. He was even reach a 100 sets of pull-ups. As he finished, he rest a while. He complete his physical training. Next was endurance running. He took a sip of his drink. Even though it tastes bad for him, this strong drink has such an intense cocoa flavor. Kengo was aiming to get strong, stronger than anyone, and stronger than anything else. However, there was people noticed him. "Hey, isn't that guy the weakest one around?" the Bonnet guy said. The other one added, "He was an F-rank with no skill and just a musclehead relying on his physical strength," and Kengo heard it all. They talked about him being struggles with a single F-rank monster like a goblin, and they even make fun of him being unable fight against just one little goblin. Kengo head to Hunters Guild at Tokyo Shinjuku headquarters. Kengo's hunter license has been confirmed. She told to Kengo with his record, Kengo is currently have no solo assignments. It is because he is the only hunter to remain at the lower rank for over 5 years, she said. She gave him advice joining a party that's recruiting members instead of going solo. That is if they will even accept you, she said to Kengo as she low-key insulting him. A guy suddenly approached Kengo if he was looking a party. Kengo look at this guy. He told there's a spot just opened up a moment ago and if you'd like maybe you could join us. Kengo asked who he was. He introduced himself as Yuma Yuki. He just recently moved to Tokyo from countryside so he's new at this place. He then stated Kengo Kuramiya's name. Kengo was surprised he knew his name. Yuma reminded him that Kengo was a seasoned F-rank hunter. The one without a skill that every hunter normally has in their arsenal. The one known as the reckless guy who hunts monsters using only his physical strength. He also heard of him multiple times. Hearing it, Kengo recognized those words, that's him. A guy who's skillless and useless, someone who was given no power at all. That's why he was mocked and called the weakest musclehead. Because in their world, skill is the most needed. The supernatural power the humankind of this world awakened to, when the gates opened and spread its monsters. Also the magic is come to world. Yuma using gravity press and a power so overwhelming it's almost like magic. Yuma told to everyone that with his skill of manipulating gravity, he can crush his enemies in a single blow. As they getting further, Yuma felt something's off about this place, because he wonder why there's monsters of boss strength roaming around. But he ignore this since their mission hasn't changed. Their goal is to take down the boss that can make the gate close. Someone suddenly called the baggage handler and asking to keep up with them. It turns out that Kengo became bag carrier of their party and he had no choice. They made fun of him for being a musclehead. He could be useful by carrying stuffs for the real hunters. Kengo felt awkward hearing those words from them. Afterwards, they take a rest and Yuma apologizes for making him bag carrier when he was a fellow hunter. He replied, "It's fine since no one understands my abilities better than I do." He said muscles are nothing compared to skills, they are practically trash. But it's all I've got and as a hunter, I want the strength to fight monsters. This is what Kengo wants overall. Yuma asked him if why is he so determined to be a hunter and Kengo told that a long time ago, monsters killed his family. Yuma thought it was a common story in this world so he said, "If you're seeking revenge on the monsters?" He got suddenly interrupted as Kengo said it's not that. He stood up in front of Yuma and frankly told, "I just want to protect others. I want to save as many people as I can from the threat of monsters. Even if I'm the weakest or the useless, my resolve won't change." Yuma stood up with smile on his face. He understand that Kengo is a kind person. As their raid continue, they were surprised to see a A-rank monster giant griffin lurking around at D-rank hunting ground. Even though it was dangerous, Yuma still wants to suppress the monster using his gravity press. He said to everyone they have to retreat for now. He was trying his best to hold at this monster, but deep inside he can't hold it back with his strength. He suddenly see Kengo beside him with a determination to fight back. Yuma suddenly take back of what he said, because he told everyone that while the baggage keeps the monster busy, they have to retreat, which made Kengo shocked. He then casted the gravity press at Kengo. Kengo wondering what he was doing and Yuma reminded what he said earlier where he want to protect people and save them. So he thought this is the best time to save them one last time since his life is really useless. A long time ago, Kengo wants to become strong enough to protect others. But that didn't happen. He have no power, no talent either, and he never had any. This made him realize this is the reality, the fate of the weak. While crawling in agony, he still hoped for that power. The power that no one can oppose. But unfortunately, he never thought ending up like this without achieving the power he was dreaming. But he suddenly heard voices. "Hey, hello? How long are you going to keep sleeping?" He wondering how could he hear those words when he's already dead. "Wake up, my little project." As he opened his eyes, he saw the face of the guy calling him. Kengo was startled to realize he was still alive. He asked him who he was, also what happened to him after the attack. But the most surprised him is the chains around his body. So he asked him where he was. Kengo observed his uniform and thought he was a doctor. Therefore, he introduced himself as Byakuya, a mad scientist. Kengo wonder what he meant of being mad scientist. Byakuya laughs and then told he just kidding and he is just an ordinary passerby. He then said to Kengo his current rank is SSS, which Kengo thought it was impossible because ranks are only supposed to go from F to SS. So Byakuya asked him to try it because this level of restraint for him should be easy for Kengo to break now. Kengo thinks it was impossible for someone like him to escape from shackles and chains. But as he tried, he suddenly managed to break free easily. Kengo was full of surprised his newfound strength. Byakuya told that he has capable of so much more unlike before. He was glad their power had successfully worked. Byakuya said he have the perfect stage to test his strength. This was the hunting ground in Shibuya he visited and it seems they have raised the rank from D to A. So a special elite party has been assembled for it. Byakuya asked Kengo if he would like to join them. Kengo wasn't sure because they betrayed him before. Meanwhile, at the Shibuya restricted area, a guy thought this is his lucky day, because he can't believe he get to team up with the legendary Flame Sword Princess. He also thought that even the area became A-rank hunting ground, this mission will be easy with S-rank on their team. He grabs Yuma to compliment for being dependable. In his thought, he was glad they have someone useless on their team earlier that used as a shield and making them able to survive from the encounterment earlier. Karen found their target, and there's the gate as well. As the A-rank monster approaching, Yuma used his invisible skill, but someone stopped him. It was Karen, and she wants to handle this all by herself. They got confused, and she advises them to stay back, or else they will get caught. Karen enhanced her sword with Flame King's Crimson Sword with 60% firepower. She used her flame slash towards the monster. Then she followed up with Sky-Splitting Blade. Karen wasn't done yet and poised herself for another attack. She blasted blaze of flames towards the monster simultaneously. They covered themselves from the bright light. Yuma can't believe her power. He finally understands the solitary Flame Sword Princess. Instead of other helping her, they are more like a hindrance to her, and they'd only get caught up in the destruction. Because Karen's power is overwhelming, she proceeds to attack for the last time to end it and increasing her firepower by 80%. The monster starts to panic as it saw Karen's firepower. Moreover, she hurled her Scorching Hell's Towering Inferno towards the A-rank monster, and it successfully landed. The monster was blasted after she landed. Yuma got surprised, because her attack made an absolute mayhem. Karen thought she overdid it a bit, but she was glad because she at least complete the mission. But she got dumbfounded as she realized something. Instead of the gate getting disappeared, it became getting bigger. Then a large foot of monster suddenly showed up. This surprised everyone, because they don't know they are going to face a double S-rank mithril dragon. They had no idea what's going on as the gate's supposed to close after defeating the boss, so they wondering what's happening right now. Karen said there's no problem for them, because we are hunters. Whatever the reason, if a monster appears before us, we just have to hunt it down and kill it. Karen didn't hesitate to use her 100% of Flame King's Crimson Sword, Sunfall. Everyone thought Karen is trying to burn down the entire city, so Yuma told everyone to evacuate or else they will get caught in it. She was unfazed as the mithril dragon approaching. She hurled her attack towards it to blown the mithril dragon into ashes. As her attack landed, a powerful explosion happened. Once again, Karen thought she overdo it again. She poured almost all her magic power into that move, but she is sure that they at least completed the mission already. Unknown to her, the mithril dragon's tail are now approaching her. She was caught off guard from it, so she can't help herself than flying away. Karen received a heavy damage after that. She can't believe this was happening, because that monster completely unharmed with her full potential. She was disappointed for herself. Her power is a gift from the gods, a talent that's given to save the world from monsters. That's why she wants to fight with the power given to her by the gods. She was determined to defeat monsters in order to save the world and guide the people. This is the story of a hero that she wants to become. But she remembers she must get stronger than anyone and stronger than anything. So Karen didn't give up with determination to get stronger. So she confronted the monster once again. Yuma was surprised to see Karen was still alive. She wants to challenge the mithril dragon once again. She can't afford to lose. She wants to show to everyone that she was still able to fight. But as the mithril dragon reaching its hands towards her, Karen starts to realize that she can't win. Even though she's the strongest that's supposed to be the hero and save this world, she left no choice and begged that someone help her. Someone suddenly dashes towards her. It was Kengo, and he instantly punched the monster. The mithril dragon was caught off guard and flew all over the city. Karen was surprised of what just happened. She began to wonder. Even Yuma was surprised by a single punch. He managed to take down the mithril dragon. He can't believe Kengo took down an S-rank monster with just one right hook. For Yuma, there's no way this can be real. Karen left speechless while Kengo was in front of her. While Karen wondered who he was, Yuma can't believe and said he was the weakest F-rank hunter, the useless musclehead, Kengo Kuramiya. As Karen heard it, there's no way that can be right because he took down a monster that even her as an S-rank couldn't handle. But a single hit, it nearly impossible. But Karen saw the monster disappear. Suddenly appear in front of Kengo. She was surprised to see this monster able to move underground. But Kengo wasn't scared of it. He instantly punched the mithril dragon that causes it to flew above the sky. Karen was dumbfounded once again, as Kengo punched the mithril monster's gut. Just like that, Kengo easily took down the mithril dragon, the gate slowly disappearing from the sky. Even though Yuma see it, he still can't believe a useless guy labeled as Musclehead defeated the mithril dragon that even Flame Sword Princess can't. He awkwardly smiled at Kengo after he remembered what he did earlier at him. Kengo starts to wonder if it was really over after he only hit it twice. But this is not the right time for him to think about it, because this strength he had is way too unfair for him. Suddenly, a flying bat-like creature caught their attention. It was Byakuya, and he was glad that Kengo defeated a high-rank dragon with resilience scales with 2 punches and completely knocking it out. This exceeded his expectations, so he knew Kengo will change his life after this. Byakuya is sure that he created the one who will transform this world and will be called as the savior. After that day, Kengo proceeded to work out just what he commonly doing. Unlike before, he was able to make 1,000 sets of bench press. Not only that, he is also able to do in heavier plates. After that, decided to stop for now. Kengo was confused that he still feels fine after all this intense training, so he wonder what's going on with his physical strength. Kengo proceeded to jog around the park. People recognized him as the guy everyone's talking about. This orange cloth guy told that Kengo was the one who took down the monster that defeated the Flame Sword Princess in an instant, but the guy in green shirt doesn't believe it and think it has to be a mistake since he is just a musclehead who relies on his physical strength and it was impossible. Apparently, Kengo still F-rank. Kengo head back to his home. But Byakuya surprises him as he was waiting for Kengo. Byakuya noticed him still continuing with his plain old training even though he gained overwhelming strength. But Kengo has a motto that muscles aren't built in a day, so no matter what happens, his routine doesn't change. Byakuya understand him after all. Upon checking his body, Byakuya notices his effort and dedication to have produced such extraordinary strength. For him, Kengo is a true triple S rank, and this what he liked the most about him. But Kengo was officially still at F rank. But then he invite Byakuya for some tea. As they got inside, Byakuya asked him when does his rank supposed to go up since it already been a week, and Kengo said, he here it's still under review. Byakuya wants to confirm if he haven't mentioned anything about his skill, which Kengo agreed because he wants to keep everything though this power awakened naturally within him. But Kengo wonders about Byakuya of who exactly he was. As they talking, Kengo's doorbell suddenly rang up. He thought it was his new protein he ordered. When Kengo opened his door, it was Karen Hamura. Kengo was shocked and recognized her immediately. She awkwardly talked about the day Kengo saved her. She was glad that Kengo shone in time because she would surely have died that day. Karen thanked him so much for his kindness. Kengo also awkwardly replied, but he wondered if the word you're welcome is the right response as he not used to being thanked. Karen suddenly handed an envelope for Kengo. Upon checking, he realized what she want. She frankled asking Kengo for a duel against each other. Kengo was surprised to hear it from her. Karen doesn't want to ignore Kengo's strength, so she decided to give him a duel, and this duel is a test for his promotion. Once again, she asked Kengo if he was willing to do a battle of pride with her. She asked one more time if he was willing to accept it, so Kengo didn't hesitate to accept her proposal. 1 week later, the hunters' duel had began where a fierce battle hunters who hunt monsters and to test their skills and strength in an intense, thrilling match. Byakuya also came here while enjoying his fries while the others are admiring Karen for upcoming match. The announcer introduced the main event of the hunters' duel, which Karen Hamura, the Flame Sword Princess, against the musclehead Kengo Kuramiya, who was rumored to have taken down a giant monster with a single punch. The announcer for today is the popular guild receptionist Maria Abe, and for some reason Yuma also heard to do commentary. Maria remembered Yuma were at the scene of the incident, so she asked if he believed that Kengo's Kuramiya's power is the real deal. But Yuma doesn't know since it had for him to believe it. This reminded the day Kengo came to him if he was alive. And his face doesn't even seem to have a grudge after he betrayed him and make him the decoy. Yuma was speechless as he regret of what he did. Therefore, he changed the topic by telling to everyone that they were here to find out soon enough whether Kengo is real deal or not. Their battle has a simple rules, and this is they have no time limit and the match end when one of them is rendered unable to fight or surrenders. Before they start, Kung asked about her injury first if it's all good now, which Karen said it does completely healed. Karen frankly advises Kengo not to worry as she was sure she's not going to burn him to a crisp. Kengo agreed to do the same to make sure he didn't go overboard. Karen took the first initiation of their fight. By using Flame Flash Sky-Splitting Blade, she managed to push back Kengo. He got surprised by its intense heat like he was getting burned just by the shockwave. Karen wasn't done yet as she do the Scarlet Circle Blade. Kengo saw this as a threat, so he jumps away from the ground. But Karen expected this just like her plan. She immediately followed up his position with her Sky-Splitting Blade. Too bad for Kengo, he wasn't able to dodge it anymore. Her attack explodes as it directly hit Kengo. Maria and Yuma was startled to see this. They saw Kengo's body falling to the ground. But all of a sudden he talked and asked if is that all she got. Kengo managed to handle her firepower and he perfectly landed. Everyone got shocked to see Kengo completely unscathed like his body was protected by whole muscle that causes the burn to be ineffective. Karen can't believe as there's no way Kengo would able to handle her flame. Kengo smirks as he thinks it's time for his turn. Right now, Kengo obtained dynamic visions, reflexes, physical power, and body strength which he assessed his potential of his enhanced body. Kengo raises his foot, then he stomp it to the ground that causes the floor to break. Everyone got stumbled by the impact of Kengo's kick. Even Karen loses stance as she got out of balance. Out of nowhere, something passed close through her. That thing suddenly broke the barrier of their stadium. Karen wondered what it was. Even Maria and Yuma had no idea what just happened. Kengo said it was a flick. He told that when he kicked the ground, some broken floor debris had float. Then he flicked that debris only by his fingers. People think that's inside and they began thinking the head in Musclehead was for ridiculously overpowered. Karen thought Kengo was lying, so she told him not to say ridiculous things like that because there's no way a mere flick of debris would break through a barrier. Kengo just thinks she was just shocked, but deep inside in his thought, he was the most surprised after all. In his thought, he never thought a flick could be that powerful, and if he had hit her, it might have killed her instantly, so he wants to be more careful when it comes to people. Karen said it was interesting. This made her fired up. Then she began to increase her Flame King's Crimson Sword firepower at 80%. She told that she had been holding back to avoid reducing Kengo to ashes, but this time, she won't hold anymore. She screamed return to ashes. Following that was her cross slash. Kengo gathered his composure. Then he just did a punch that causes the flame to fade away from the wind of his punch. Karen was flabbergasted seeing this, but she held her sword tighter. She wasn't done yet, and she used her Flame Flash Sky-Splitting Blade once again. Along with it is her Scarlet Circle Blade dance. Her simultaneous attack causes a disaster inside the battlefield. As the smoke faded, Maria was surprised that Kengo is still standing, so they wonder why is he unscathed in the blazing vortex of Karen. Yuma explained that the wind created by his kicks and punching might be dispersing the flames, which surprised Maria. She asked if that was possible and Yuma said no for a normal human. So Yuma said to everyone that Kengo is the real dead because is a genuine monster. Kengo was teasing her if there's something with her and asked if that's all she have got. Karen didn't said a single word, so Kengo thought it's over. But all of a sudden, she showcased her Scorching Hell's Towering Inferno. This is her ultimate full-powered strike, her final and finishing move. So she dare Kengo go ahead and try it if he could able to handle it. The audiences starts to get anxious as Karen became so serious to the point she was trying to incinerate her opponent. They thought if Kengo doesn't dodge, it's a game over for him. But actually, Kengo wasn't thinking of dodging it, but to stop it instead. They are surprised to see Kengo bare-handedly catching Karen's blazing sword. Then Kengo squish it like a real sword. Karen was dumbfounded of what he just did. Even the audience began to get crazy of what was actually happening. They can't believe Kengo crushed the all-out attack of the Flame Sword Princess, which could have scorched the entire area, by only a sheer overwhelming power. In reality, if Kengo had taken that hit directly, it might have been dangerous as it even managed to burn his hand a bit. But Kengo wasn't still satisfied enough to truly test his strength. Kengo came at her. He then asked her if she wanted to continue. Karen refused. She decided to surrender after all. That means the winner of this fight is the Musclehead, or rather the Muscle Monster, Kengo Kuramiya. Karen suddenly called Kengo's name because she have a request for him. She frankly asked Kengo if she will be able to be his partner. Since Kengo had no experience of rizzing women, he had no idea what just Karen said. The next day at the Hunters Guild Tokyo Shinjuku headquarters, when Kengo was about to enter, people inside caught their attention as Kengo walking toward after recognizing him, the guy who rose up from F rank to double S rank. While some women was admiring and dreaming of hitting with him, but one of these girls scolded them as Kengo was rumored to be involved with Karen. The receptionist's attitude with Kengo had finally changed and looked so delighted, unlike before. She was told that they have been expecting him here. She asked if he was alone, but Kengo doesn't want small talk, so he directly told her that he just felt like testing his skill. This girl's is trying to flirt Kengo with her wise words from Kengo's strength, where he could pick whatever he wants, such missions or women. As she was seductively asking Kengo if he was free tonight, Kengo just ignored everything she said and told to just pick a mission for him and something extra challenging. Moreover, she understand and look for the most difficult mission available. She found one, and this is the S-rank Danger Demonic Forest in Kichijoji's Inokashira Park. Kengo didn't waste time and he goes. Before getting inside, he stretched a bit. Then a monsters suddenly surrounded him, but Kengo think this was a good workout for him. There are some various monsters like demon monkey, giant snakes, man-eating plants, insects, and even monster birds. Kengo closed his eyes, as he think that even these monsters are B rank or higher, just one of these would have been fatal for him. But his current power, he was sure this wasn't the problem. The monsters suddenly lunge at him all at once. Kengo don't feel like he could lose against these monsters. As one of the monster preparing to attack him, he jumps above it. Then he prepare himself to strike. He instantly defeated this monster. With Kengo's exceptional dynamic vision, it's as if the world has stopped moving for him, which truly unfair. Because of his newfound powers, he became unstoppable. This made him think he was too overpowered, even he faced triple S-rank monsters. He told these monsters feels lacking. Kengo ironically asked the giant snake if what's wrong as its fangs can't pierce him. For Kengo, ordinary monsters really are lacking in power. He then slammed so hard his hand into the giant snake. The impact scares the bird monsters. After defeating all the monsters at this place, he wasn't satisfied yet, as he wants to find a bigger opponent. So he guessed even strong people have their unique struggles. This reminded him the last time Karen asked him to be her partner. She added that she wanna form a party with him. Kengo was low-key felt disappointed after that's what she meant by partner. Karen looked down. She always fought alone because she was afraid to endanger her allies. But if Kengo is with her, she wouldn't have to worry about that. So she think if they are together, they could take on even stronger monsters. She tried to riz at him while asking if his silence means no. Kengo said it's not a no, but when he look at the people, seems disagree to think they would be partners. So he just told her that he wants to think about it first. Kengo thought there's no real advantage to forming one right now, but he was still traumatized of the last time he got into a party. As he was deeply thinking, he realized something. He haven't seen a single monster for a while now that looks like they are avoiding him. He thought he just made too much, but he didn't know someone above are observing him. As he was busy looking for monsters, this guy suddenly attacked him. Kengo was instinctively dodges it. This attack were able to destroy his tree behind him. Kengo recognized this attack as the Spear of Wind, then the guy approaches him. He saw Kengo casually strong through an S-rank hunting, then he stated Kengo's name. Kengo asked him who he was, and this guy was surprised that Kengo didn't recognize him as a fellow hunter. He brushed his hair while saying him Wind God, Hayato Narakami, and double S-rank hunter like you. Kengo got surprised to hear it after realizing this guy is one of the 5 strongest in Japan, including himself. As Hayato thought Kengo got sick of small fry and the weak flame sword princess. He unsheathed his sword and he challenged Kengo. When Hayato saw Kengo's fight with the flame sword princess and the fight with the monsters he fought earlier, he acknowledged Kengo's power being monstrous and his toughness is beyond the human's limit. But for him, Kengo has one thing severely lacking. As he about to tell this, he dashes forward, and he said Kengo lacks of speed. Kengo got anxious of Hayato's inhumane speed. After Hayato dashing all over him, he asked Kengo of how's that, as if was too fast for him to react in it. He told that his skills allows him to control the wind as he wish as the wind god. He even shows that he can ride the wind, which helps him to hunt his enemies. He suddenly attacked Kengo with full force. Kengo were able to dodge it while agreeing he was fast, but he saw a flaw of his speed where he can to track his attack. Hayato suddenly vanished from above. Turns out he was already behind him and Hayato teases him for being too slow. Kengo was off guard of Hayato's speed that caused him to receive multiple slashes. Kengo was startled what just happened. He can't believe what Hayato did after he just took his eyes off him for a split second. Seeing Hayato at this state, he finally understand the true power of a double S-rank hunter. Hayato strikes once again, but Kengo evaded it. Because of Hayato's deadly strike, he even destroys the trees behind Kengo with only shockwaves of his attacks. So he told to himself if he had just dodged his strike without stepping back, he would be dead. Hayato was impressed for Kengo for an XF rank. He introduced his sword Ryukuri, the Dragon Slayer, a legendary magic sword that can slice through dragon scales. He added that his sword would able to cut through human flesh like a butter, so he advises Kengo not even think about trying to block it. Hayato poised himself and promised that he will hold back so he don't kill Kengo. Since Kengo was also double S rank, he knew he would do his best. Kengo saw his attack as a threat, so he maneuvered himself to back away. However, Hayato was surprised to see Kengo dodged 3 swings. He think this wasn't that bad, so he ducked down to poise himself once again. He suddenly vanished at Kengo's sight. Hayato suddenly appeared behind Kengo. Unfortunately for Kengo, it was too fast for him to dodge this. Then Hayato strike him simultaneously. Kengo saw his attack like a hit and run. He finally understand Hayato was attacking from a safe distance with overwhelming speed, without giving him any chance to counter. This made him feel like he was thrown in a blender. Hayato made fun of him after seeing him sitting like this while he was continuously striking Kengo. He even insulted Kengo for being musclehead who's relying on power and toughness. Hayato was disappointed for Kengo after all, so he wants to strike him to end him. But Kengo saw an opening and punched his face directly. Hayato got surprised as Kengo did this. He wondered what just happened. While Kengo moving forward, he told that it was a counter. Kengo was proudly asked him it worked, didn't it? An unexpected strike has its effect. Hayato realized that Kengo planning to do this from the beginning. He explained to him that he was preparing for this, getting used to his speed and studying his attack rhythm. Also, he decided that if he was going to strike, it would be a one-hit finish and he didn't think he would win otherwise. Kengo thanked Hayato for being a formidable opponent and giving him a good fight. Hayato was surprised for his kindness, so he smirked. He grabs Kengo's hand after having a pretty good time too. Hayato asked Kengo if he hit him a bit too hard as his head feels like spinning. Kengo thought it wasn't that hard as he only used 5% of his strength. Hayato was surprised and Kengo explained that he didn't want to kill him, so of course, he held back. He even considered blocking his sword with his arm, but he decided not to do it, which Hayato think it was a good call. Kengo doesn't want to break such an expensive sword and have to pay for it. Hayato was surprised to hear that Kengo worried about the wrong thing. Then this made him realize Kengo was more crazier than the rumor says. He grabs Kengo's shoulder and told he like him. At first, he thought he were just a musclehead, but he understand now he is sharper than he looks. Kengo told that he have been training in martial arts since before he gained this power, because for him, muscles aren't built in a day. Hayato finally understand that there's a reason behind his strength. This made him like Kengo more and more. Moreover, Hayato changed the topic and asked Kengo to take down the boss together. In his thought, there's no real need for him to team up, but he had no choice and agreed to fight together with Hayato. Kengo asked his name once again, which made Hayato mad that he already introduced himself from the start. However, Byakuya's bat were observing him from afar. Kengo and Hayato finally arrived at their target destination. Hayato said that the boss is up ahead. Both of them prepare themselves before they start. Suddenly, the boss had come up, and this is the Elder Trent, an S-rank monster. Hayato didn't hesitate to dash forward and said, "Let's see who takes it down first." It's a competition, Kengo. So his spirits fired up as Hayato being competitive. In Hayato's thought, he swore he won't lose this time as he will end it in a flash. The Trent's root suddenly lifts up. It strikes Hayato that surprises him. Hayato didn't expect this one's tougher than he thought. As he expected of a boss, it won't go down so easily. But suddenly startled, as Kengo charging at the boss flawlessly. He teases Hayato for stop moving like he was scared. So he got triggered from his insult. Hayato told Kengo not to underestimate him, and he followed up a sequence of attack. This slightly hit Kengo. Hayato was low-key teasing with Kengo that he will slice things up along with any others. Finally, Kengo understand that it wasn't that bad to fight alongside a reliable comrade. As Kengo's observation, this monster attacks with root-like whips, and not only that, its razor-sharp blade like leaves. Also, it was throwing projectiles above them. Kengo dodges this, and it was a fruit that released acidic and toxic gas. So he think this monster is one of the tougher ones of the S-rank. But for Kengo, it wasn't that strong when it compares to them. So they knew this is easy fight for them. Out of nowhere, a giant bird suddenly appeared, both of them surprised of its appearance. The giant bird suddenly covered in yellow lightning. This lightning struck them out, but they were able to avoid it. Hayato realizes the boss has allies too. This bird is a lot more stronger, and this is Lightning Garuda, a double S-rank monster. Hayato began to felt hesitant, but Kengo ignores the threat. Kengo ignores it, so he charges towards. The Lightning Garuda spotted him, so it strikes Kengo with its lightning attack. Kengo wasn't moving a while after that, but he mocked Hayato for calling him an idiot. His body tingles a bit, but because of his muscle, so this is just a simple shock for him. Kengo wants to push through. However, the Lightning Garuda flew away, which Kengo think it was trying to e-space in the sky. Kengo felt annoyed against flying enemies. Suddenly, the Trey Ant strikes him while he was thinking of the Lightning Garuda. Hayato's attack just passed through him. Turns out that Hayato attacked the fruit that about to throw by the Trey Ant. Hayato ordered him to take care of the bird while he will take the Trey Ant. He knew he had advantage of this tree, so Kengo understand him and took action immediately. Upon observing, he think the Lightning Garuda wasn't planning to come down, as it looks like it intends to keep attacking from the sky. Since this was the case, Kengo took a rock from his pocket while planning to flick towards the Lightning Garuda. The rock hurled towards the Lightning Garuda. Unfortunately, it didn't hit, but it hit the trees behind it instead. Hayato think these monsters are going all out. The Lightning Garuda starts to get annoyed, so it attacks Kengo again with its lightning. But Kengo left unfazed and tried to catch it one more time. The Lightning Garuda turned his back like it was trying to escape again. Kengo immediately run towards its direction. He jumps on it as he tries to capture it, but there's a problem. He was so close but still out of reach. Hayato's wind suddenly pushed his back. He used his wind magic to help Kengo to reach the Lightning Garuda. Because of that, Kengo was able to get in front of it. He thanked Hayato for giving him a good support. Because of his help, he was able to land a powerful attack to the Lightning Garuda. This made the Lightning Garuda fall into the ground. That attack causes it to lose its consciousness. But all of a sudden, the screams towards Kengo. He got startled from it. Kengo landed directly towards the Lightning Garuda. The Lightning Garuda smashed into pieces. Kengo celebrated his victory, and he is hyped up. He thinks the only problem now is the tree monster. Hayato said he just finished up. He also ended his opponent as well. They are so happy as they finally defeated the monsters. Because of that, the gate finally closed. Hayato told to Kengo that it was an intense fight, and having 2 double S ranks makes it a piece of cake for them. But Hayato was confused on one thing. He never hear anything about there being 2 bosses. Not only that, the one Kengo took down was an double S rank monster. So he think the monsters wasn't match the hunting grounds danger rank, which Kengo agreed when it also happened in Shibuya. Hayato began to wonder what's going on. Suddenly someone asked if they would like to know. This surprised Hayato and Kengo. This guy has devilish look, and he was the one doing this issue. Hayato eagerly asked who he was, because by seeing this person doesn't look like a human, but a monster. However, his appearance seems look far too much like a person for him. He replied that he either human nor monster. So he introduced himself as Demonkin, and he advises them to think of him as a higher being than humans or monsters. He added that he was a foreigner from a different world, and this world was called Demon Realm. They got startled as they heard him talking at their back. Kengo got shocked. They immediately moved back as they wondering how he was able to move just a blink of an eye. Demonkin raises his hand and saying, "I'm the one who's nurturing the gates, sending stronger entities into this world just to ravage." Then he attacked them with a bright burst of energy. Hayato dashes upwards while thinking of taking him down will be the end of everything. Hayato successfully strikes Demonkin. He acts like he feel the pain, but he suddenly smiled. Hayato's sword broke into pieces that surprised him. Demonkin dashes in front of him, and he was struck by him. This instantly made Hayato instantly lose his consciousness. He mocked Hayato that he want to defeat a Demonkin by a useless trick. This idea made him laugh as he find it funny. Kengo wasted no time and take the opportunity to strike. His attack made a huge impact, but the Demonkin stopped his punch. Kengo got surprised as for the first time, someone was able to block his attack. He sweats a bit. Instead of getting scared, he was fired up as he faced a worthy enemy unlike any he faced before. Kengo pushed himself further. Demonkin was surprised as his body instinctively avoided his punch. His instincts even telling him taking this head-on is dangerous. So he wondered if this guy really human. He was getting interested at him, so he decided to change his mind. He told that he intended to eliminate any nuisances immediately, but for him it would be a bit boring. He hoped for Kengo to show his resistance against their invasion. Before leaving, he told that his name was Zeno, the chief who commands thousands upon thousands of monsters. He asked Kengo's name, so he said it. He smiles at him for being polite. Therefore, he hoped that they meet again soon. That day was before this world perishes.